Hello and welcome. I'm Eddie Ambler. In this demo, we will be covering how to create a virtual cloud network known as a VCN with internet connectivity using the OCI console to launch the VCN creation wizard. To begin the process of creating the VCN, let's open the navigation menu. Let's click on Networking, then click on Virtual Cloud Networks. You can now select the method that you would like to use to create your VCN by clicking on the Create VCN or the Start VCN Wizard button. For this demo, we will click on the Start VCN Wizard. On the dialog page that displays, you will be presented with two wizard workflow options. The first option creates a VCN with internet connectivity. The second option creates a VCN with internet connectivity and a site-to-site VPN. For our demo, we will select the option to create VCN with internet connectivity and then click on the Start VCN Wizard. This brings up the Create VCN dialog page, used to enter the information required to configure our VCN. The right side of the page provides you with a VCN reference architecture that the wizard will deploy. Now let's enter our configuration information on the Create VCN dialog page. For the VCN name, enter a display name for your cloud network. Note that this name will be incorporated into the names of all the related resources that are automatically created. For our demo, we will use My Demo VCN as the VCN name. The compartment field defaults to your current compartment. Validate the compartment shown is where you want your VCN to be created. Now let's enter the CIDR details for the VCN, the public subnet, and the private subnet. For the VCN CIDR block, you will note that a default of 10.0/16 has been populated. For the public subnet CIDR block, the value provisioned must be within the VCN CIDR block. You will note that a default of 10.0/24 has been populated. For the private subnet CIDR block, the value provided must be within the VCN CIDR block and not overlap with the public subnet CIDR block. You would note that a default of 10.0.1/24 has been populated. For our demo, we will accept the defaults assigned to the VCN, private subnet, and public subnet. Please ensure that the Use DNS host names in this VCN is checked and click Next to proceed. This will bring us to the configuration review page where we can ensure that the values for the VCN, subnets, and gateways are correct. You will note that our VCN has the name of My Demo VCN that we entered in the wizard, and that our VCN is in the compartment that we chose for it to be created in, and that the VCN has the CIDR block that we assigned. Note that the DNS label has adopted our VCN name, and that the DNS domain name, which is a combination of the DNS label and the parent domain name of oraclevcn.com, also includes our VCN name. Under subnets, you will see that there is a public subnet section and a private subnet section. Note that the subnet names includes our VCN name. Here you can see that the public subnet name is Public Subnet My Demo VCN. And similarly, you can see that the private subnet name is Private Subnet My Demo VCN. For each subnet, you will note that there is a default security list and route table. These will enable basic access to your VCN. The default security list and routing tables can be modified to allow for detailed traffic control after the VCN is created. In the gateway sections, we can see that there are 3 gateways that are planned for creation by the wizard. The Internet Gateway, which will provide the public subnet access to the Internet. The Net Gateway, which will provide the private subnet access to the Internet. The Service Gateway, which will provide the private subnet access to OCI services such as object storage. Let's take a look at the security lists that are planned for the VCN and private subnet. Let's first inspect the rules for the default security list for the VCN by clicking on Show Rules. You will notice that the first ingress rule shown allows incoming SSH connections on port 22 from any IP address. You will also notice that the egress rules allows for outgoing connections to any IP address. Let's click on the Show Rules for the default security list for the private subnet. And note that the security list rules for the VCN and subnet are exactly the same. You can see the same ingress rules allowing SSH access. You can see the same egress rules allowing all traffic destination outbound. Now let's take a look at the rules for the default route table for the VCNs by clicking on Show Rules. The default route table for the VCN has the rule for the internet gateway to allow outbound traffic to any IP on the internet. Let's click on Show Rules for the default route table for the private subnet. Note that this has the rule for the NAT gateway to allow outbound traffic to any IP on the internet. It also has the rule for the service gateway to allow outbound traffic to the OCI services such as object storage. Now that we are happy with our preview, let's click on Create to start the short Create VCN workflow. After the workflow completes, click View Virtual Cloud Network. This will bring us to the VCN details page where we can confirm that our VCN name is what we entered, which is My Demo VCN, and we can also confirm the state of our VCN as being available. Under subnets, we can also confirm that our public subnet was created with the expected CIDR block range of 10.0/24, and the private subnet was also created with the expected CIDR block of 10.0.1/24. Congratulations on accomplishing the mission. You're now ready to use your VCN in upcoming tasks. Thank you and good luck.